Power generation from wind turbines is the second established form of renewable energy, along with solar power. However, public acceptance is significantly lower for various reasons. Here is what you need to know about wind power. Wind is an abundant resource that provides electricity without burning fossil fuel or polluting the air. Historically, wind power was used by sails, windmills, and wind pumps. Today it is almost exclusively wind turbines in wind farms to generate electricity. Those wind farms can be onshore and offshore. Wind turbines are predominantly made of steel. They also contain fiberglass, plastic, iron, copper, and aluminum. Wind turbines harness the kinetic energy from the wind using mechanical power to spin a generator and create electricity. If the wind is not strong enough, the rotors do not turn at all. If the wind blows too strongly, the rotors must be turned out of the wind and stopped, otherwise they would turn too fast, bringing the windmill down. Currently around 7.5% of the electricity globally is wind power generated. Annual wind power capacity additions need to more than quintuple to 350 gigawatts by 2030 to be on track for net zero emissions and climate goals by 2050. Unlike solar panels, wind turbine manufacturing is more evenly distributed globally. However, China's overall market share is expected to grow fast within this decade. China was responsible for half of global wind power capacity additions in 2022 and has an aggressive growth strategy going forward well into the next decade. One big question remains: are there enough metals for a large-scale wind power build-out? Copper may experience supply shortages in the latter part of this decade. This could potentially affect the planned expansion of wind farms. A single wind turbine can contain between 10 and 30 tons of copper. After electricity is created in the generator, it travels through copper cables down to the base of the turbine on the way to a transformer. Each turbine has its own transformer. The electricity then passes along through more copper cables on its way to a common collector. Global wind technologies require an average of 450,000 tons of copper per year currently, before increasing to 600,000 tons per annum out to 2028. Although this is relatively small compared to the global copper consumption of 26 million tons per annum, the impact at the margin can be relatively large due to the general copper shortage. This demand growth increases the risk of supply and demand mismatches. Copper, vital in wind power generation, is fortunately the third most recycled metal. Iron and aluminum, which are also significantly used in wind turbines, rank as the first and second most recycled metals, respectively. This helps to secure the supply in the long term and mitigate some of the shortages. Although most of the wind turbine can be recycled, blades are a different story. Blades are made mainly of carbon fiber, fiberglass, and balsa wood, which are hard to recycle. Currently, blades are often disposed in landfills, an issue that needs to be resolved in the future. As a renewable source of power, wind has a significant role in helping mitigating climate change. It promotes energy independence as wind power can be used even in remote places. But there are also drawbacks. Wind turbines can be noisy and unappealing aesthetically. Local opposition to wind farms can be very strong. They adversely impact the physical environment around them and endanger the wildlife, especially birds. Ideally, wind farms are built in remote areas. Wind power is reliant on the right weather conditions and therefore can't generate electricity 24/7. Quality and life cycle duration of wind turbines is still poor. They are maintenance intensive and can even be destroyed during strong storms. The problems mentioned earlier regarding the recycling of blades must be solved in a sustainable manner. With rising raw material prices, their economic viability is in question. Various planned wind farms will therefore not be built after all. Even if wind power makes sense under certain circumstances and especially in remote locations, in our opinion the disadvantages outweigh the benefits in heavily populated areas. Invest in the clean energy future. Invest with Talk Capital Management.